Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is Tamela Odom, and I am guest hosting for Reverend Jones this evening, who is out doing the work of our community. And we just hope that he comes back to us, to Chicago, safe and sound. And I'm sure he'll have a good report to share with you on next week. Now, we are in the midst of Black History Month, and I want to share with you, before we talk to our guest here this evening, I have some information that I want to share with you to celebrate Black History Month. On this day, February 8th, in 1986, 32 years ago, Oprah Winfrey became the first African-American woman to host a nationally syndicated talk show. So that is phenomenal. Okay. We know that she is a billionaire. She's doing wonderful things with...
She is an inspiration.
An inspiration. She has O Magazine. She has Harpo Studios, and the list goes on with Oprah Winfrey. Also, on this day in Black history in 1986, figure skater Debbie Thomas became the first African-American woman to win the women's singles in the U.S. National Figure Skating Championship competition. Now, Debbie Thomas, I don't know if anybody knows this, but she went on to become a doctor, graduated from Stanford University, and she also practiced medicine here in Chicago at some time at Northwestern. So wonderful to know that we have some dynamic women in our history. But let's talk about some of the men.
She want to talk about the men,
some of the men. Also on this day, 2008, the Chicago-based band, the Shy-Lights. You like the Shy-Lights?
Of course, of course.
The Shy-Lights won a Grammy Award for Best R&B Song for their work on Beyonce's song, Crazy in Love. Now, I did not
know that. Now, you just gave me something that I didn't know.
I love the Shy-Lights, but I did not know that they were a part of that Crazy in Love song. So we learned something today.
Yes, we did.
This day in Black history, February 8th. And we have a rich history as African Americans, but it's not just our history. Black history belongs to everyone because African Americans have made major contributions all over the globe, including different countries. So we just want to celebrate them on this evening.
We wouldn't have a railroad system.
We would have a railroad system and a lot of other things. The elevator, there's so many things. The list goes on and on and on. And so before we get into our topic this evening, I want to share an announcement with our viewers. On February 21st, there will be a scheduled event entitled Bridging the Gap Between Law Enforcement and the Community. And this is an opportunity for you to come out and speak to elected officials. Commander Kevin Johnson of the 11th Police District will be there. And the purpose of this event is to talk candidly with law enforcement, community organizers, and the community to talk about ways in which we can make our neighborhoods safe. The 11th District has one of the highest crime rates in Chicago. So, of course...
What's the areas that the 11th District covers?
Majority of the west side. So you have, I know them by ward. So 27th Ward, I know is one of them, and 38th Ward.
Part of 28.
Part of 28.
Part of 24.
Part 24, 27. So those are some of the major districts that make up the 11th. So if you live in that area, or if you're just concerned about crime in Chicago, I encourage you to come out for this event. Again, that's going to be on February 21st. That's a Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And this is going to be at the Salvation Army Freedom Center in their chapel at 825 North Christiana. So please mark your calendars for that.
Save the date.
Save the date.
This is going to be a great, well, I call them all summits.
Yeah.
Anytime we all can get together and we can actually just exchange those resources and stuff. I think this is something that everyone who feels as though that they're a victim of crime, especially on the west side of Chicago, and having a great commander like the commander is in 11th District, come out and get to know your fellow officers, or officer friendlies as we used to call them growing up, and let's be a part of making our communities great again.
I cannot agree with you more, because as you said, Zerlina, these are our communities.
Yes.
And it's up to us to make a difference in those communities. So please come out for that. Now, as you can see just from the comments starting our show, our guest is no stranger to the camera. And as you can see, she has a lot to say and a lot to contribute. So we are excited that we are filling in together for Reverend Jones. I guess it takes two
to do the work of one. The work of one, but look, what does he say? Teamwork makes the dream work.
dream work.
Makes the dream work, and amen, that he knows that it's going to take two powerful sisters to get one of him. So we're here to represent him.
And we're ready for the task at hand. So we have with us Mr. Lena Smith, and I'm going to allow her to tell us more about her. But if you are listening and you want to contribute to our conversation this evening, feel free to give us a call here at the studio, 312-738-1060. Again, that telephone number is on the screen, 312-738-1060. Now, Zerlina, tell us about your work here on KNTV.
Oh, wow. Look, first I want to do something else, Reverend will get us both.
Oh, okay.
If you are not familiar with Fathers Who Care, Fathers Who Care, this is what tonight's show is about. Mm-hmm. Fathers Who Care in the West Garfield Park community stakeholders. They are located at 4540 West Washington Boulevard, Chicago, Illinois, 60624. The office number is 773-287-5821. Once again, the telephone number is 773-287-5821. So pay me no mind looking down at my phone. I have to make sure that I get all that information to you correctly.
Right.
And
it's important information.
Yes, because Fathers Who Cares does fabulous work throughout the community. Why I'm here tonight with my great sister sitting next to me. I feel so honored to be with Miss Tamela.
Thank you.
I am Lena Smith. I am a member of everything that I believe that goes on that's positive on the west side of Chicago. I am a mother. I'm an advocate for public education. I'm an advocate for quality of life, not just in my community, but all over the country. So what I'm here to do tonight is answer your questions, answer anything, and we're here to talk to let you know what the importance is of what we're doing and give you more information. And I also have my own TV show, Mothers Who Care, Family Component, once a month, first Monday, every month, 6 p.m. Tune into that. And let's get into all we have to talk about.
All right. See, I don't just love the energy that's coming on this side of the room. I love it.
I have too much going on. I can't tell you everything.
So you have to tune in to her show on once a month to learn more, because we can't give it all to you in this one segment.
Yes.
So our topic this evening, extremely important topic. We want to talk about voting. And we know here in Illinois, the upcoming primary is going to be March 20th. Can you believe that? It is right around the corner.
Early voting was supposed to start, but in the state of Illinois, it's not going to start. Or is it the county?
I think it's county.
Okay, so in Cook County, we're not going to start on time. And I hope everyone is aware of that. What about the early voting?
That's a good question. Now, I do know that the last day to register is February 20th. So that's important. If you are planning to vote in this upcoming...
Absentees.
Absolutely. Absentees are very important, too. You have to make sure you visit the Cook County Board of Elections website to get more information on that. You can also register to vote online. And if you are 17 years of age now, but you will be 18 by March 20th, you can still register to vote. So we want to make sure that our youth are taking advantage of that as well.
Yes.
But we want to talk about that population of people who have given up on voting, or they never voted at all. So that's our topic today. We want to understand, in your opinion, why do you think people don't vote at all, or they stop voting? Because we want to talk about both of those populations of people. So give us a call here in the studio, 312-738-1060. So I want to share with you some statistics that I pulled off, Zelina. So, of course, you know Chance the Rapper. He is an activist in all facets of activism. And I just love Chance the Rapper, by the way. He's an excellent way to represent our city. And we know 2016 election for president, he not only voted, he took a delegation of people to the polls. He had the streets lined downtown Chicago. People followed him. He did a concert. He really encouraged youth to vote.
And let's hope he do that again.
I certainly hope he does that again. But here's a concern. You had people, thousands of people, because I watched it on television, the streets where you couldn't even get through, the streets on the sidewalks, because so many people were following him to the polls. But what I noticed, he went into the polling place and very few people
followed behind him.
There you go. They were looking for him as the celebrity. We know that our former president, Barack Obama, and former First Lady, Michelle Obama, they really did a great campaign while they were in office together, encouraging youth to vote. However, there has not been a major impact.
Okay.
Why do you think they don't vote?
I'm going to say personally, coming up in a black community, we looked to our elders, our mothers, our grandparents, to give us a direction as to who we should support and who we should go vote for when we became of age. You have to look at everything right now. The youth might not be voting just my opinion, just because their parents is not voting.
Wow.
The lack of voter turnout in all age ranges right now, especially in the Black community, is very, very low. And we have to look at why is that?
Why is it?
Look at our communities. I mean, if you look at our communities, we sit back and I think that we pay the highest in property taxes.
Yes.
We pay the highest in all taxes, and we don't have the basic necessities that other communities get. We have a lack of everything, so you can't just name one thing. We're study facing school closings in Black communities, and property taxes go towards that. Our park districts, we pay property taxes and money goes towards that, but we don't have those programs that every other community have. So it's very important that if you're 17 and if you're older, that you start doing your own research and using that power that you have, because our ancestors, our grandmothers, some of our great grandmothers and people before them fought for that right.
Yeah.
And Black History Month is about the things that our people fought for us to have, and we have it and we're not using it. And my just personal experience being a mother of a little kid, my daughter's 8. I'm going to be out campaigning for the people that I feel, that I know I support. And she's going to be there right there with me so she can advocate and grow up to know the importance of voting. So we have to remember, because the topic is civic engagement, that we teach each other what it is on how voting really, really do matter. Because if you're tired of walking outside your door and it's not the vision you want to see, go vote and take your neighbor. Take a stranger, take someone, but educate them on not just voting, punching for anybody because someone told you so, but doing your research on that individual before you get to that poll.
Very important. Now, something you said, Lena, really caught my attention. You mentioned about in African American communities, there are very limited resources. However, African Americans are paying the most for other people to enjoy the best of the resources. Why isn't that a draw or motivator for Black and brown people to vote?
You have to remember, a lot of us work minimum wage jobs. A lot of us are taking care of our families. We working just to survive in a community or a state that is not for us, that's against us. So when it comes time to sit down, when we get home from 1 or 2 jobs or school, whatever it is that we're doing in our busy lives, we have to attend to our children. We have to mentally just de-stress ourselves. And who's cutting on TVs? Who's opening up papers? Who's on their phone looking at all these social media comments about what's going on, or just information, the information. We're not consuming the information, and we got to do a little bit better.
A lot better.
I'm a leap of faith. I call myself a frog.
Okay.
Because I'm jumping here and I'm jumping there. And I have a lot of energy because I think it comes from Cora Smith, my grandmother. But we have to take baby steps and meet people where they're at.
That's a good point.
And right now, we have to know that what affects you and why it affects you is because of the lack of voting. Because my issue might be different from your issue.
Right.
But if I'm fighting for education and no one's voting, then education will stay the same. If I'm fighting for basic public services and no one's voting, and we keep having the same issues over and over again, it's time to vote. It's time to show up and show out in mass numbers and let them know the power, the mighty power of all people of color. Because right now, they're taking advantage of us.
Right.
And if we don't show up and show out by punching anybody and saying that this is who we want to be representative of our communities and our neighborhoods, then we deserve what we get. We honestly do. And the baby steps is first educate yourself. First educate yourself, then educate your children, then educate your grandchildren, educate everybody as we go along. So it's a pattern that they know people have died for this right.
Yes, yes. And you know, something else you said that I thought was interesting, and you talked about the different patterns. And you mentioned how with your daughter, you want to make sure that she is involved and watching you help with campaigning efforts so that it becomes a part of her. I remember when Mayor Harold Washington was running for election, and I was a little girl. My mother was 9 months pregnant with my baby sister. And I remember she went into labor. This was as a kid. And do you know, before she went to the hospital,
she went to vote.
She went to the polling place. She marched, my sister and I, we went to the polling place with her, and it was a line. It was freezing cold. It was February 23rd.
Now, see, and that might be another problem. We might need to start a campaign on changing these voting dates, get them out the dead of winter as well, because I know that's a major problem to voter turnout anywhere. I mean, look at the time of the year that we go to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to get off work or leave work and it's 3, 10, however many inches of snow living in Chicago, and you're sliding, and then you're standing outside in lines and all this. I think that's a big inconvenience, because I've heard that from a lot of individuals about why we vote in the winter, and I'm like, we've been voting in the winter ever since I was a thought.
Yeah.
So we have to really look at things and how to figure out how we're going to be that change to make it convenient for not just whomever selected the policy for that, but how do we change it and how do we put our voices in it.
You're absolutely right. And in the meantime, we have to not miss those opportunities.
That's right.
And if we have to push towards those opportunities, we have to do it. I just remember, I was just amazed. This woman was in a long line, and of course, some did let her skip the line, but others did not, and she refused.
But look at how people treat our seniors, period. Yeah. I mean, in general, we have to learn, first and foremost, fathers who care, community, family component. We here because we're women who believe in that message, that image.
Right.
And when you see a senior standing in line at a grocery store, or at a mini mart, wherever you're at, and you know that you younger than them, step back and let them move in front of you.
That's a very good point.
Step back, because I believe in paying it forward and loving thy neighbor. So at this particular point in 2018, with elections coming up, and we're sitting here as two African-American women talking about the importance of the civic engagement, the basics rights, we need to first go back to how we were taught.
Absolutely.
Go back to how we were taught. We have to learn to respect our elders and listen to them. We might not agree to what they're saying or to what they're doing, but we need to listen to them, because 9 out of 10, well, mostly 10 out of 10, they've lived their life, and we can learn something from them. Right. And that's why this voting and this topic is very, very dear to my heart, because, like you said, our moms was going to vote. I was on my mom's shoulder when she was voting for Harold Washington and volunteering on his campaign, and I was walking, but my mom, I'm tired. You know, our mothers instilled things, and it was a different time, but we're still living in the same time, but we're in 2018, and we have lost that momentum. And what we should be thinking about is, how do we engage people of all ages to want to know that your vote matters?
Absolutely.
And come out and vote.
Absolutely.
That's what we should be pushing and fighting for. Because I'm telling you, Lena Smith going to be knocking on doors. Zelena's going to be phone banking from her own phone. Zelena's going to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that voter turnout, at least in my community that I can reach, will be affected, because we can't allow it any longer.
You're absolutely right.
We can't.
That is so important. Now, I did my own non-official survey, and I talked to 10 teenagers. Well, I shouldn't say teenagers. They were ages 18 to 26.
Okay.
10. And I asked them, here in Chicago, and I asked them who their alderman was, who their state senator was, state rep, U.S. senator.
Don't embarrass my kids. Don't embarrass my kids.
And their congressman. Then the congressman should be an easy one.
Yeah, because everybody know their congressman.
Yeah,
that's like an antique.
There you go. We have one congressman who has a show on this station.
Yes.
Everybody should know him, right?
Yes.
10 youth. 10 out of 10 could not answer one of those questions.
But don't feel bad.
Yeah.
I can give you 50 seniors who can't answer those same questions. considering a lot of work that I do, we've been out and people didn't even know who State Representative Ford was. And we're out. This is what we do. And these people just was like, who, what? They're like, what does a state representative do? And these were seasoned individuals.
And we have a call, but I want to say the reason why I brought that up was in response to your message that you shared, that we have to educate ourselves. We have to just not take other people's word for it, to know the candidates before you vote for them. So we have some work to do, but it's not over. Like you said, there's no reason to feel bad because we can still impact our youth. Okay, I believe we have a caller. Caller, what do you have to share with us this evening?
Yes, good evening. First time caller, great show. You know, you're right, but the thing is that when people go and vote, they don't read up on who they're going to vote for. They vote name, they vote color, they vote everything else except the knowledge of knowing the person that they're going to vote for. So when you go vote, I hope everybody does, please read up on the person you're going to vote for, and when you vote, vote right. Thank you.
That's right.
Yep. Very good. Good. I appreciate that. You know, I didn't mean to do that. We see, I'm a novice to this. We're going to work it out. Reverend Jones, don't get me for that little mistake I just made.
Oh, but we have another caller, so we must be doing real good. Keep it flowing. We're here today to make sure that everyone's voice is heard.
Hello.
Hello,
Caller, what do you have to
ladies.
share?
Hello, ladies.
Yes.
Good evening. You're looking beautiful this evening.
Thank you. What would you like to share?
There we go. With the voting, everybody should be voting, all the way down to a 12-month-old if we could
Come
do
on.
it.
That's right.
That's right. What we're beginning to vote with when the people go to the ballots is to be looking for the neighborhood they live in and the aldermans. Look who's running the neighborhood. Like I live in the 41st Ward. I got Mr. Napolitano over here. So I know who my alderman is. And anytime I got some kind of complaint or something to tell him or something going wrong, I know who to call. It's my alderman.
That's right.
Knowledge is power. And with you beautiful ladies being up on that TV and teaching our children that voting is very important. Our words sometimes are not met. They give us a lot of promises and they don't keep them promises. You ain't smart to be lying, but sometimes we got to have faith in the good Lord Jesus above.
That's right.
That we pick somebody. We tried to pick a good president. That didn't work. So stay on those children. Teach them how to vote. If you know how to ABC and 1, 2, 3, you ought to learn how to vote from your mama. When your mama or daddy go vote, you go on ahead with them and show them how to do it. And God bless you, ladies.
Thank you so much. I appreciate those comments.
And you have a blessed night as well.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, we're on a roll now. We have another call. Caller, what do you have to share with us this evening?
Thank you so much, and keep up that good work. And I just want to salute you all. And what I want to share with people, some of the mechanisms that I use each time I go to vote. I make sure that I take some young man, some young woman downtown to vote, show them the process, let them learn the process, see for themselves. Then when they get through registering to vote, then apply to be election judge. It's about education.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, because number one, they've taken so much away from public schools. Yes. We used to have home economics in school, where they used to have the machines in the schools.
Yes.
And we elected our student council members by that machine. So it's about re-educating our young people, and then they can re-educate people as they go along the way. That's because this is nothing that we cannot win and cannot do. But we need to put a smile on our face and love each other.
That's right. Well, we need to collect some numbers off the air because exactly. Yeah. And that's what we need. You know, is with people like you, women. We have to at this particular point because they have lost respect for our men of color. If we have to step up and be the leaders in whatever movement we need to be the leaders in, we have to do it right now.
Yes.
Not later, right now. Right now.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Yes. And you know what I think is really something that I thought about with our caller. Remember back in the day when we had mock elections in high school?
Yes,
And
I do.
we talked about learning the different candidates from the mock election. And you would elect a president, a vice president, and whomever else from your school. But we would use like the presidents and stuff.
Like you said, the student council.
Yes. And that's a good idea, something that we can bring back, because as our caller says, and have you said, Zelina, we cannot give up on our youth.
We're not giving up
We're
on our youth.
not
We're
gonna
not
give
giving up on our youth. And we're going to make sure we don't give up on our youth by getting our seasoned seniors and everyone who wants to get involved, start hosting these house events at your house.
Yes.
Get involved in block clubs. Do whatever it is that you need to do to take back our communities. Because I'm telling you, if we sit idle, there's no reason why we should complain any longer amongst ourselves. Because if voting is how you speak out loud to say that your alderman, your state reps, your congressman, your president, you have not served us in as many more seats, that you have not done your due diligence by representing this community. So get out that vote. I'm Lena Smith. You can Google me. You can find me. Facebook, wherever. And once again, we're here, Fathers Who Care. I'm a guest. I'm taking over her show. But this was a great show. I'm going to let her finish out, because we love you, and we're here to show the passion that we have for our communities and our city and our streets, right?
Well, there isn't anything else for me to say, Zelina, because you can wrap this thing up. Thank you for tuning in. And again, don't forget about that event that's happening on February 21st, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Salvation Army, 825 North Christiana. Thank you. I've been your guest host, Tamela Odom, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
And please look out for more great things to come from Fathers Who Care.
That's right.
I mean, we doing some fabulous things. We have a youth council. You guys better call in, get informed, Google it, because we're out here and we're for real. Sisters like us, we don't just get a check. This is what we live for. And we're here to educate and do whatever it is that we can do. So please call the station if you're looking for us, or Google the both of us.
Yes.
We're very reachable.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.